So, welcome. Do you need relationship advice today? Are you wondering how to get over a breakup that's just broken your heart? Are you really in the place where you got to end a relationship and you just don't know how to do it without it being a major drama? Well, I'd like to welcome you today because you have stumbled upon the perfect place. Because today we have the breakup expert who is also a certified relationship coach. Her name is Kate Galt, and my name is Liz Gracia, and I am the founder of the Mind, Body, Spirit Network. And we love to invite in kind of enlightened individuals that help us move through personal growth and development issues. And I have to say, Kate, relationship advice and how to deal with breakups and broken hearts. You know, I did a little bit of research prior to having you on here, and the number of Google searches on that topic combined is well into over 100,000. So you're in a good business. People need your help in a big way. And I thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Liz.
And we do need to say that we may have barking dogs and crying babies are a possibility, which, you know, we're going to go with the flow and deal with that relationship. So, Kate, the breakup expert, that is quite a title. Can you tell us what that would entail? You know, what's that all about?
Yeah, I became the breakup expert because I do believe that the key to happiness on planet Earth starts with one household at a time. And if we are in unhealthy relationships, we need to get out of them and get into healthy relationships. So I am the breakup expert, helping people to move from unhealthy to healthy.
So does that necessarily mean you just want to help people break up? Are you able to kind of do a couples type of therapy to keep people together, or what are you finding your need, where you're needed most?
8 times out of 10, there's been irreparable damage.
Oh.
You know how, maybe you don't know this, but you know how some hold on to things and they just can't get over it. And I don't blame them. There's no blame or shame in that at all. But it's time to just start over sometimes. And, you know, in that interim period, that's when the growth happens. That's when the beauty happens in between relationship A and relationship B. This is where the breakup expert likes to come in and help with the creating a life that you love so that you can attract a higher caliber of new love.
Good point. I have to say that I didn't know anything like you existed when I was ending a 17-year marriage. And I was so entrenched in holding on and blame and shame and guilt. And if I had had someone like you on my side, it probably would have been a lot shorter and easier transition because you know, because you do this, that the emotions can get caught up in like this whirlpool that you can't get out of. And if it's that traumatic, help would have been useful.
It's true. And in a breakup, we isolate ourselves naturally because, you know, emotions aren't really acceptable on the Facebook page or, you know, in your general day-to-day. Like I drop my daughter off and there's a woman going through a breakup there and she is trying to put her face on, you know, her game face on, and that's really lonely. So that just helps that spiral that you're talking about.
Right. So did this woman try to engage you? Does she know what you do?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
good. So you can give her a little help?
We already
okay, good.
Together. And thank you. You're so sweet to be concerned. I mean, 3 young children, you know, and the end. And I just feel like if you don't isolate yourself, when you reach out for help, you're right, it does go a lot faster. You're validated and you drop the shame, and there's I think improved healing with someone. I mean, any relationship coach, of course, I would love it to be me, but get help, you know, if that's happening. Don't isolate yourself. Get out there, get a community of people that are in that same issue, going through the same thing.
Yeah. So I'd like to qualify that because I kind of read a recent article in a book about be careful about the community you choose. And I think it's important to turn towards supportive, loving communities as opposed to, blame, shame, hater groups. That just came to me.
100% agree.
Yeah. And Kate is not here to support you in complaining and blaming and shaming, I can assure you. So if you want that, go somewhere else.
Yeah, if you want a supportive environment where there's a non-judgmental attitude and everything you need to heal yourself is there, that's me.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, I too isolated myself in a big way. And, there's silver linings to everything. So don't blame yourself for isolating yourself, but know that isolation puts you in this very small perspective, right? As you know. And that's why you're here, is to expand that perspective and open the possibilities, right, Kate?
Exactly, Liz.
Cool. All right. So what would be a sure sign that you're in need of a breakup coach? So good, like, hello, red flag.
Red flag is a big deal, noticing those red flags. The crazy part is you saw those red flags, is my guess, about 20 minutes into the first date. maybe the first 6 months.
Blind, Kate.
We're all blind.
When they were coming, I'm like, I'm burying my head in the sand here. I have friends under here called ostriches.
We're all really blind when we think there's a potential for love and we feel that person projecting all over us, all this wonderfulness. We don't see that, we will fight in the kitchen for 30 years. We kind of just let that one go. But you would need me or a breakup coach when you have been thinking over and over, this just isn't it for me. I'm not with the person, my forever guy, is one of my clients calls him. This isn't my forever guy, or this isn't my forever girl. Also, if you notice that your performance at work is dwindling because you can't mend your broken heart, or you're ending a relationship, that's another time to call me. That's pretty much like, if you're just going crazy in your head and you need to get out of it.
And make a decision.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's the tornado that, I like to call it like the toilet bowl. It's not going to turn around anytime soon.
Right.
Unless something dramatic happens, and then that's no fun.
Yeah, and you don't want to go relationship hopping, because then you just repeat those same patterns. You want to make a definite stop and a definite start and make it conscious. And in between that, get some relationship help.
Cool. So that brings up a great topic, is like so many people end up with the same person again because they jump from relationship to relationship, right?
Yes.
So how do you help them kind of recognize that pattern? I mean, there must be a process you go through so that, you don't jump right into another one. And when I was separated from my husband, I met two guys that are like, okay, this is where they're a lot like my husband. And I fortunately recognize it and said, I don't want to do this again. Ooh.
Yeah, good for you, because now you knew those red flags. You got them the second time, didn't you? We're all just humans that want to be loved,
Yes, I know. So would that be a part of your process? I would imagine that would be pretty important.
It is. So to answer your question, I'll go more into the process. I'm a certified relationship coach. That means that I can pull out your strengths and pull out your weaknesses and not just talk at you about your life and what you need to be doing. I'm not, doing this.
Yes.
But I'm also not mamby-pamby, like, how does it feel? We do a little bit of that, but we definitely go into, you got to see your own blind spots so that you don't make the same mistake. And I pull those blind spots out with my training, and you go, aha. And that's how it starts. And that's how it continues until you attract that person. We go into, a little bit of law of attraction, a little bit of processing grief, all those things that clean the slate so that you have a brand new platform to work on and you don't attract those same people that you did.
Yeah, that's important. So I want to go back just a little bit, because you did mention one red flag. Are there any others that are like pretty key that you'd say?
Yeah, here's a couple of red flags. If you're in a relationship right now and you're ignoring the red flags, a red flag is when you think to yourself, "Oh, that was awkward." And then you have this reaction in your body that you kind of tighten up. It could be about many things. A couple of examples that come to my mind now is, oh, she doesn't want kids and I do. That's a big red flag.
Yes.
You want kids. You got to choose somebody who wants kids. You can't just kind of ho-hum it until you're 40 something years old. And,
or you think you're going to force someone into having kids.
Right. Or you think you can change them.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Isn't that a flag there too? Thinking you can change somebody?
That's a great question. Is that a red flag? Oh, I'll just change them. Yeah, I think you're right. I have a happy marriage, and the red flags they're not red flag, they're not red flags, so to speak. They are, can I live with this? Like, this person is very curious. They're always asking questions. Oh. Can I get up in the morning and be curious with him? And if I'm not, can I keep my sense of humor? So as long as, you can, in your heart that it's kind of cute and it's not degrading or debilitating or angry or vicious or negative in such a way that I'm really going to have to deal with this my whole life, then yeah, you're going to have to make some sacrifices in a relationship. That's true. But the sacrifices aren't, I'll let them walk on me, I'll make myself invisible. Those are the red flags of it's time to do something.
Thank you. That's good. Women, men will do this too. And we'll touch on that in a second, but women will tend to go invisible. Or lose their power in the relationship.
I agree with you. And it's a generalization, but I do find we are feminine. We're meant to, ebb and flow with what's going on and be able to listen to our baby crying in the background and, write our blog in the front ground. So we tend to meld into situations. I've had an interview before where a woman mentioned, she said, 20 years of marriage, divorced, done in that transition, that neutral zone. And how do you like your eggs? I don't even know how I like my eggs cooked. I've been cooking them like my husband wants for 20 years. I like that metaphor of, well, yes. How do you want your eggs cooked?
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get to, how did you even decide you wanted to be a breakup coach? That's super specific. And, where does that come from?
Thank you. So I was business coaching for many years, and I love business coaching. It's great to find people in that transition of wanting to play a bigger game. But what has been my true calling since I was way too young was making sure that people were in successful relationships, almost to the point of meddling before the social graces came in when I was in middle school.
Oh.
It was, I don't think you should be with him. And they're like, well, it's none of your business.
Well, when you're 13, it is.
When you're 13, it's everybody's business, right? So through time, in my 20s, I remember just setting this ultimatum for one of my girlfriends who trusted me and knew that I had some kind of purpose, life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In this, I said, you are not allowed to move in with another guy for another year. She had just been, serially moving in.
Ah, good.
She gave me the dirtiest look. She said, I don't want to do that. And I wrote it down and I made her sign it.
Oh, good.
Just came to me and I knew I had to do it. And a year later, she had taken her time and she came back to me and confided in me and said, that was the best thing. That's the best piece of relationship advice I have ever gotten.
All right. I want everyone to hear that one. Take time for yourself, right?
In between relationships.
Yeah. Reestablish your own identity and power again.
Nice, Liz.
Yeah, that's huge. That's why I said it out loud. I'm like, listen up, gang. Men and women both. So that brings us to, do you help everybody? What types of people do you work with?
I do. I help people with a heart.
Well, some people could there's a metaphorical heart. And,
right.
Right.
If you don't have a heart, I don't want to help you. if you are
you're a cold beating, flapping fish on the dock, forget it.
Exactly. Those are not the people I attract. The people I attract are men and women, gay, straight, whatever, that want love in their life and that just have not been successful with it and need a little bit of prodding,
Yeah.
a little loving and kindness, as well as uncovering, like I said, those blind spots of where they go wrong when they don't see it.
Yeah. So that kind of brings around the question, are you really like counseling people? Or I noticed, I'm reading this article written about you that you see a difference between counseling and coaching. And why don't you just tell us what you see the difference being?
That's a big question these days. Is everyone's calling them, I'm a coach, I'm a relationship therapist, I'm a relationship counselor, I'm a breakup, like all sorts of different terms. So there's counselor, there's coach, and there's therapist. So I believe a counselor is more of a guide who facilitates. A therapist is someone who goes into your past and helps you heal through grief and emotion, and you talk about your mom and dad and all of that stuff. And then the coaching is that point where I'm going to move forward in my life.
Oh,
now, you can't move forward in your life a lot of times unless you clean up that baggage. So therapy is definitely necessary, but you don't want to be falling in love with your story, and every minute you get, you're telling the same story over and over, and you're never moving forward.
Okay, so are you kind of working on each of those?
Exactly.
Past, present,
I'm a counselor, I'm guiding. I'm the therapist. I'm going backwards and healing the past.
Oh, good.
Through what we call process coaching.
Okay.
Where I was certified. And then that coaching a big new life.
So were you spending most of the time healing the past, or?
That's a great question.
Or can you move through that quickly?
A trained coach like me who's had a lot of experience, they know that they've told their story 150,000 times, and they're kind of sick of their story too. So when, after I'm loving them and knowing what's going on and I've got the background and everything, I see, okay, this isn't serving you anymore. It's time to stop telling your story and go deeper into your emotions. And then boop, there's this natural bounce when we really can be held in our heart that allows us to move forward. So it's pretty natural process as long as you have somebody who's trained to be able to guide you through it.
I was going to say, having someone like you moves it along more quickly, because otherwise there's that part of me, phone ringing in the middle of our conversation. Sorry about that.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I understand. I get the whole telling the story a million times, and you tell it to anyone who will listen.
And to a point, it's healing.
To a point, and then everyone's like, all right, I'm done with the story, and they don't want to tell you they're done with the story because they're your friends and they care about you, but they're like, okay, move on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you kind of put a stake in the ground in that regards, right, Kate? And
I love that metaphor.
You're not pussyfooting around.
My stake is you're getting rid of all the stuff that doesn't serve you, and you're moving into what serves you now, as soon as we start working together. Here you go.
Okay, good. Now, have you found a pattern where you're typically spending, the first couple of sessions healing that past, or where are you at with most of your clients?
Yeah, it's an in and out.
Oh, okay. So you're going back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a straight line. It's an ebbing river.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking to a specific client of mine, back and forth. And it's true. Like when we push ourselves to new frontiers, I've never been single for more than a year before, or, I've never decided that I want a man who is XYZ and I'm going to go for that instead of just settling for what comes. Right. And when that happens, we get our inner critic going, change. I gotta stop this. And so the inner critic in us is leading the show saying, you'll never be good enough for that. You shouldn't do that. And then we have to go back into the process coaching and say, what is that? Is that real? Is that really true? And then they can bounce back out of that and go a little further into challenging themselves, but more just getting what they want.
So you go into the whole, like, let's write down who we want, right? Do you do that? Like make a list of your...
That's such a fun exercise.
That is a fun one. I mean, why put any limits on that one?
Yeah. I have breakup meditations that help, reinforce that positivity of, yes, this is crisis mode at the moment, but it won't be forever. And it's time to just empty.
Right. And guess what? No one dies from a broken heart. Well, maybe they do, but it's rare.
You know what? People die from a continued not facing what they need to face through time broken heart.
Yeah.
If you can nip it in the bud before it kills you, that's
denial. It's denial that's going to kill you.
Yeah.
Not willing to be courageous and look at what's going on.
Yeah. So many times I hear people, oh, you're the breakup expert. I'm out and about in my life and, oh, you're the breakup expert. And they say, oh, I'm done with relationships.
Oh, well,
I just
think, help with that too?
I do. Exactly. It's mend a broken heart, right? Like it's obvious that if you're done with relationships, your heart's still broken and there's some healing that needs to happen.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up because, having loving relationships, what else are you on this planet for? Of course, I could be looking in a mirror talking that right now, I'll tell you.
We all have relationship work to do.
Yes, we do.
My husband is excited that I'm the breakup expert because every day I get to watch people who are wanting to transform, and that helps me keep agile in that way so that my relationship is fresh.
So good. This is a good segue into your relationship history and what have you experienced that you might want to share with the audience that they can relate to you?
Yeah. Well, I've run the gamut. Good boys who are not motivated, check.
Yeah.
Bad boys who are bad news, check.
But fun and risky, risk takers.
Risk takers, check. People that are so my soulmate, but I just don't want to have kids with them, check.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a hard one.
I bet that's a hard one.
It's like, I really love you, but I don't trust that, I don't feel safe and secure bringing another being into this world. It's like and I know you're not going to change enough to stand up for what it takes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I've been experienced that way and have really broken through on letting my patterns go and picking somebody who serves me, brings out the best in me. We can laugh, we can cry. He holds that space for me, and I've learned to ask for what I want, which was in the past was pretty rough. Like my birthday and Valentine's Day are 2 days in a row, so you can just
really
the mayhem in the past of you don't mix these two together; they're separate. And I want a card for this day, and I want a card for this day.
Nice.
To handwrite them. So now I've asked, and people who love you, they will do what you ask as long as it's realistic and you love them back.
Okay, so quick question. Are you the 13th or the 15th?
15.
My sister's the 13th. That's why I asked.
I love it. And
I love Aquarians. I just jive with them totally.
Yep. I am an Aquarian with a practical approach.
Nice.
Yes.
I'm a Gemini. I have issues with any type of practicality.
You do a pretty good job.
All right. So I want to understand, people here watching and they might want to engage with you because you're a cutie pie and you know what you're doing. And I like that. So why don't you tell us what type of online therapy or counseling services that you do provide as the breakup coach?
Yes. If you want to talk to me over the phone or on Skype, I am happy to have what I call mend a broken heart strategy session.
Oh, nice.
Or if you're trying to decide whether to leave your lover, we just switch the name up and talk about should I stay or should I go strategy session.
And then do you have that music going on in the background?
Yeah, I bought that song.
Oh, good.
And then if you are shy and you want to check me out on YouTube, I'm under the Breakup Expert.
Yes.
that's free of charge, of course. If you're also in crisis mode and you need somebody right now, you can do an emergency text session with me. We go back and forth for about 20 minutes, and you have a plan. You basically stop the text session with a plan, with a little bit more ease. I hear it all the time when I do these text sessions, like, oh, I just needed somebody to talk to that could hear me, and trained coach to ask the right questions, and now I feel so much better.
So are these complimentary services you offer to first-time clients, or?
No, the text session is just $19.99 usually.
Okay.
Yeah. The complimentary service is if you have a burning question and you want to ask, bottom line it for me, tell me where your pain is, tell me what you want to do about it, and send me an email.
Okay, cool. So we're going to have links at the bottom of this video and these articles that people are going to be brought to, so that they can connect with you some way, somehow. So, but let's talk about some of the programs that you've created, because I think you've created very specific ones, haven't you?
I have.
Bring people through different processes.
Yeah. Okay. So, my Pinnacle program, if you love me and you really want to work on yourself and stop making the same mistakes and start creating that life that you love so that you can attract that partner, I have the Courageous Lover program.
I love that name.
I know. Who doesn't want to be a courageous lover? It's a little scary, but it's something really big and beautiful to step into. So through that, I take you through, if you're in a breakup, I take you through that breakup.
Is this a one-on-one thing, Kate?
Yes, thank you, Liz. Okay. It's one-on-one, me and you, every week. We are going at it and getting it done. And so I help you get you through the breakup if that's where you are. If you really need to take that leap and you need the courage even before that, that's fine. We go from there. The mending the broken heart, the grief, I call it getting over the breakup blues, I create that platform for you to let go and to grieve the way that you need to.
Nice.
And after that, create the life you love and attract a higher caliber of new love. So those are my 5 basic steps in that. I have VIP days where you spend 4 or 5 hours with me. And before you go 4 or 5 hours, because I hear that as an objection all the time, and it goes so fast.
I bet. Well, especially when someone's focused on you and hearing your problems.
Yeah, exactly. And moving beyond them. So I offer VIP days at different hours, hourly, times.
Well, I would think, if you're distraught and traumatized and you can't stop spinning in your head, then an intensive day like that could kickstart you out of that state. That state is not rewarding. It doesn't get you anywhere. It gets you worse off. And to end that cycle, you probably need that much time to work through it, I would guess.
I've seen it happen many times. It's like what do I want to say? It's just this pinnacle. You just dunk, and then you're on to new things. Yeah. I have group programs as well.
Do you have like Facebook groups that you do?
I have the Breakup to Breakthrough Facebook group where I will give you support, and you'll have support from the rest of the group. You'll witness and be witnessed through saying, how your day was, or how you are getting by, a positive thing or a negative thing that happened to you. How the power of community cannot be underestimated.
Right. Now, is this group available just to your clients, or is that open to everyone?
This is a group for anyone, everyone. It's a complimentary group. It's a secret group. So if you're interested, I can, let's see, what do we want to do, Liz?
Well, I will provide the link to join that group, right? And then they would just request to join it and you would okay it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, it's secret, so no one else will know you're in that group.
Oh.
It's different than a closed group.
Oh, really?
Right.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. So
especially if you're planning a breakup and the other side doesn't know.
Yeah.
So, well, you need the courage to do that.
Right. And I hold that confidentiality at the highest respect. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. You do need to keep this confidential, especially on Facebook. I mean, really, you don't want to be spreading your relationship issues all over Facebook. That's not really unless you're getting help for it. I don't know.
that brings up a great point of no contact. You know, after like when I talk with people who have broken up and they go, oh, well, we'll just stay friends. Oh, we have kids together, so we're going to stay in the same, you know, and I think that can be okay. But my number one rule is just give it 30 days.
No contact.
Days, but let's start with 30 baby steps and no contact just for 30 days. And if you do need to pick up your child from daycare or do, you know, your thing where you have to see them, have an advocate with you. It's huge. It will help the relationship pain so much more.
Oh, good point. I mean, that's putting a stake in the ground.
Yeah.
For somebody.
You're like, you're not allowed to mess with my emotions.
Yes.
And I'm not going to give them to you to mess with.
Yeah. So on this topic, I just want to interject a little about the topic of courage. And I study consciousness a lot. And there's a whole background story in that I don't need to repeat here. But courage is the first level of positive upward moving power on the map of consciousness, which is great that you help people get to courage, Kate, because when you're down below courage in sadness, blame, shame, guilt, anger, resentment, pride, whatever, you can't get out of it without courage. You have to at least get to courage energetically. And I feel like having someone like you to talk to is going to remind you of your own power, who you really are, who you've been in the past. And that level of courage is going to launch success. So I love that you have the courageous lover.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's a powerful word, and it's a powerful intention to decide, I'm going to be courageous about this. And it takes courage to tell somebody, you know, they're going to decide I'm not going to have any contact for 30 days. Could take a lot of courage for many people, especially if they're in abusive relationships.
Yeah.
Are you encountering much of that, Kate, or is that?
You know, I don't attract too much of the abuse. I definitely say call the DV hotline and get your stuff going and get out of there as soon as you can.
Yeah.
I don't have the 1-800 number memorized, but it's dvhotline.com. And
what's that?
The domestic violence.
Oh, domestic violence.
Thank
okay.
you. Yeah, DV.
Gotcha.
And I know the people that work there, they're good.
Good. Well, they need another level of help.
Exactly. Well, it's not another level. It's quite frankly, like I want to deal with emotions. I don't want to deal with safety issues.
Right.
Go to the next place.
You're not a cop.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Okay.
You'd be a very sexy one if you were.
Thank you.
Everyone would want to be stopped by you.
You know, my daughter, I think, wants to be a cop. So we'll see.
That's too funny. All right. So I think well, hold on. We do want a little bit more, know a little bit more about your credentials.
Okay.
Why don't you tell us a little about that?
Yeah. So I am a CTI trained certified relationship coach. I'm also a certified counselor. I have trained for 2 years in this thing that's really hard to explain, but it's a leadership training. So I was trained to be a leader and never deal with boring meetings again. I have to speak up and
nice.
So it's a leadership within a group. Well, that is 100% about relationships. So I've learned to show people how they're impacting other people. I've learned to take advice about, criticism is tough, especially going through a breakup or wanting some kind of relationship change. So I've done extensive training in what I call relationship leadership. Wow.
Leadership, that's a step up from just coaching, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's important.
That's my training, and I've had lots of practice at it. I've thrown myself in and had that courage, stepped up above that line of shame and said, you know what, I'm just going to coach until I'm good at it.
Okay, good.
And so, it's been 8 years.
Wow.
7 years now where I have just coached and coached and coached and coached and then found my niche about 4 years ago, and then come into the Breakup Expert. So
I love the name.
I know. I've had lots of experience coaching, and I would love to coach you through your breakup transition.
Awesome. And is there any like examples of outcomes that you'd like to share that are just kind of exceptional and
Sure.
worth sharing?
They always just make me so happy to think about how much transformation people have gone through, just letting me hold them, letting me ask them some very important questions, letting them really go into the pain and come out with success. So let's see, the first one I can think about, it was a man, and he asked me if I could coach him and his wife as they broke up. So conscious uncoupling, you probably heard that term before.
Not yet, no, but I like that term.
Gwyneth Paltrow really led that.
I remember hearing that. Yes.
Conscious uncoupling. So, she was very shy and timid, and I got her to come out and say, "What do you want? What do you want with this?" And so both of them got a voice through my coaching, and they, have children. So there's a lot at stake. You do have to remain friends, but I did do the no contact with them, and they adhered to the policy and told me that really helped them take a second to really remember who they were after.
Even with kids.
Yeah, even with kids. No contact meaning we don't talk.
Yeah.
We don't see each other, but I have an advocate with me that will speak for me, and vice versa.
Oh, that's how that works.
Makes sense? Yeah. I mean, it's hard with kids, but it can be done.
And are you dealing with a lot of families with kids?
Half and half, I'd say.
And are many of your clients married, or just been in a relationship a while, or even a short relationship?
It's everything. It really goes through the gamut. Like I have women who want to have babies and they're not with the right guy and they need to move on. I've had men who are like, why did she have such an effect on me after they break up, and that he can't stop thinking about her. I've had women and men who are like, should I stay or should I go? I really am tired of wondering, like, this, I got to get off the fence here because it's exhausting.
Yes.
And I really, if that's you, the should I stay or should I go intensive, it's a 4-week deal. And I call it intensive because it's intense. You have to really go into what you need to go into to come out with a decision at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Whether you're going to go.
Oh, so you're setting a goal. Like, we're going to be done in a month.
Yeah. And it works, and I'd say 8 times out of 10, it's to leave, and they come out with a plan for how they're going to leave.
Oh.
And they've been very conscious while they're working through it. So they know that they are not going to have regrets or second guess themselves.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, Kate. I like that. That's a valuable process to go through regardless.
Yeah. And the tools and tricks that I teach throughout, a lot of times the 6-monthers that are really with me, they graduate, if you will, and they are just so excited with the new, all the new techniques that they have that they can take with them into their next relationship.
That's awesome.
And happy endings.
I like happy endings.
Yeah. Too.
Well, Kate, we're going to wrap it up here today, and I want to thank you so much for joining us. And I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add before we go, but.
A successful relationship is where the person respects your past, they support your future, and you can keep your sense of humor as you have serious talks and fun talks. And if you don't have that, and if you really want that, I can help you get that.
Awesome. I am sure Kate can. And I wish I'd known about her 16 years ago when I needed it.
Thanks, Liz.
So if you want to connect with Kate, we're going to have all kinds of links below this video. And she's a member of the Mind, Body, Spirit Network. And we're so happy to have a conscious contributor to our network, especially on the topic of relationships, because they're so huge. And clearly, a lot of people are in need of this type of help. So thank you, Kate. And we'll be talking again soon, I'm sure. And all of you that are going to call up Kate, get cracking, put a stake in the ground.
Nice.
Thank you, everybody.